Mandy, legacy and gratitude, how do they sort of come into leaving a job, though? What's the link?
Really good point. When we talk about leaving somewhere and we talk about leaving the job, there's often a lot of sadness associated with that, maybe even anxiety about what's going to happen next. And I guess what I'd want us to think about is turning some of this sadness that we can think about in terms of endings into something a little bit more positive, so that actually we can look back to our time at BP, with a sense of maybe positivity, with a sense of curiosity, and actually asking ourselves, well, what have I learned from this? What am I taking away from my time at BP? What have I acquired through all of those experiences at BP that will then take me into the future? And I guess when I sort of think about that, for me, that is this lovely word legacy. It's like, what has the legacy of BP meant to me? And, I don't know about you, Samantha, but when we think about having been made redundant before, all of that, there is loss, but there is what we take with us when we leave is huge amounts of experience, of the knowledge that we had of people. We take our some of the great experiences that we had with us. And I suppose when I look back, I think about things like all of the travel, all of the secondments, all of the projects, and then, of course, the most significant thing, which is the impact of the people and how the people that we have met, what impact they have had on us. And of course, some of those are going to be great role models. I can think of people who I emulate, who I really want to be like. And some of those can be maybe anti-role models. Some people who I really don't want to be like. Was that your experience, Samantha? Did you have any people, like, say, who you didn't want to be like?
Very much so. I can think of someone who briefly managed me before coming back to my level. And that probably is a giveaway. Why it didn't quite work out. And yes, I mean, it was like the person was rude. He put me down in public, and that was difficult to take. But you just realize that those are the sort of people you have to avoid. So that in a way, you can turn that negative into a positive. Those are the sort of people you have to leave behind and learn to deal with. So you're right. You've got the positive people, a lot of many positive people, particularly at BP I've met, and also the negatives, learn from the negative people as well.
So, and you've reminded me a bit about line managers. So when we think about legacy, it can be a little bit of a sort of, a sort of amorphous sort of word, if you like. What does it really mean? But let's narrow it down. Let's think about our line managers, and imagine like lining up all your line managers that you've ever had and thinking, what are the memories that I'm taking from those line managers? Who has been great? What have I learned from each of those line managers, and what have I learned to avoid? So I would urge all of us to sort of think of that. I can remember 20 years, 30 years ago, my first line manager, and I can still remember what happened, what that was like, what was she like. And also my recent line manager, I can think, actually, what do I want to take from them? So that's a real sort of thing to really get stuck into the nitty gritty of what is the legacy of sort of line manager impact. But then let's move our discussion, if we can, onto gratitude. So I guess one of the things that we need to be thoughtful about in relation to endings is, what are we grateful for from our work? What are we grateful for from the people that we have worked with? And so much we think about this in relation nearly always to the people. And we sort of think, the people that we've met and the people that have come into our lives, how have they influenced us to the positive? Often made us feel that we belong, made us feel, given us confidence, maybe given us resilience, maybe cared for us when we've been in really difficult times. And I guess I wonder if we can think about actually thanking them. And in this time, whereby we're not together, we're not having parties, leaving parties, we're not having, the rituals that we can do where we give people, we write lovely things on cards, or we rewrite, we then read them out at meetings. We almost can't do that now. We have to do everything virtually. So can I ask you, Samantha, have you ever written a card to anyone to sort of like when you've left just out of the blue to say, thank you so much for the impact that you've had on me?
I'll be leaving BP soon, and I've written to both of my line managers and told them how much I enjoyed working with them and what they mean to me. And also someone I worked with in quite a difficult project, but it turned out really positive, and I reached out to that person to say thank you for his or her wise words during that time as well. And yeah, absolutely, I've done that, and it's very cathartic. I think it's a good thing to do, because you're acknowledging that those people had an effect, and funnily enough, they've appreciated it too. So it's worked both ways.
And actually, in the wider sense of the word, when we are, as I said before, just when we're involved in leaving, we're involved in transitions, the overriding sense can be sadness. However, these are things, so thinking about our legacy and what BP has given us, and the gratitude that we have said to other people has been shown through our research into positive psychology, has been shown to help us feel good, has been shown to help us feel positive. So being able to say thank you, even though you're giving that card to someone else or you're saying thank you to someone else, you feel positive from that and they feel positive from that. So I guess, thank you, Samantha, for sharing those experiences, because my hope is that we can look back with a sense of positivity and gratitude.
So if we were to summarize, we can turn what maybe on the outside looks like a negative into a positive.
Absolutely. Thank you.